Hey fellow geeks, and welcome to another sparkling episode of Stace and Barry in the Morning, Season 6, Episode 15. And that's some awful singing, which that's how you know that we are Stace and Barry in the Morning. More awful singing. You're very welcome. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts. I'm the Barry of this breakfast burrito, which means on the other half of the burrito is the lovely and dashing Stace.
Oh, thank you for calling me dashing. I think you gifted us an extra season there. You know, I think we might only be on season 5. Yeah.
Oh well, that means apologies to the people who listened to season 6, episode 14, who are wondering where that came from.
Whoops.
Oh yeah. Goes to show just how many listeners you had that no one bothered to correct us.
No one noticed.
Because
it's fine.
It's got Stace and Barry in the Morning, season 5, episode 13, and then it's Stace and Barry in the Morning, season 6, episode 14. The time travel episode.
Oh, mate, we've just given everybody such a taster of what's to come in. However, I was going to try and work out then, like, roughly when that episode would take place if we stuck to a schedule, but we literally never stick to a schedule. So that would be a fruitless endeavour.
No.
And I haven't got the capacity for maths either, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah. Schedules are for boring people.
In it, though. Hello, everyone. It's me, I'm Stace. I think we've said that.
I think we covered that.
I think we did. Oh, yes, you said we were in a breakfast burrito, and it made me think about, do you know you can get blankets that look like burritos and tacos and things? And I just sort of pictured the pair of us like snuggled up under one like an adorable pair of nutters, and then I thought about how hot that would be given the current British weather, and then I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, don't do that.
She's having a hard time in this heat, lads. Oh, she's trying her hardest, but she's having a hard time.
Well, this probably won't help, but I'm currently drinking the Galaxy milkshake.
Do you know, I find that milk is a bad choice when it's this hot. For me, personally. It's like my body just goes, dairy? What are you actually fucking thinking, you dumb bint? And then I'll get really sick. So I am currently on a Fanta Fruit Twist, not a sponsor, but it is very cold because it's fresh out of the Frigidaire.
Nice.
Do people say Frigidaire? I don't think they do they?
I don't think they do. I've never heard that term before.
Oh, okay. Is it even a word? Have I picked that up from somewhere where somebody's just said something daft and I've just accepted it as a real thing? Oh, Lord. Things like that happen to me all the time.
Lordy. How about we get to a segment before we end up in season 7?
All right, let's break out some trumpets. Jazz.
Right.
Trumpets. Now, if we do pick the fortnight first, which I am currently positing that we do, I sort of have 2, but one of them's really small. So I don't know if you want to, sandwich yours in between my 2, or if you want me to just fart both of mine out at once.
Whilst it's tempting to hear you fart both of your pick of the fortnights out.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I kind of got 2, but I mean, you could argue I got 3, but I'm gonna do.
Well, if you want to do all 3, I can be the filling in a Barry Club sandwich if you want.
Okay, let's do it. Let's see how we go. Let's see how we go time-wise.
What's your first one then?
Okay, so my first one I am picking because I'm trying to pick, even though when I say it, people are like, oh, a lot of people have heard of that, but I'm trying to pick some shows where I don't necessarily think people will have maybe checked it out that I know. Mm-hmm. So my first one is Star Trek Prodigy.
Okay.
So basically, this is an animated show set in the Star Trek universe. And it's with a group of teenagers finding an abandoned spaceship. They decide to use it for the exploration of the vast universe. However, they soon land in trouble when the vessel's owner returns. That blurb does not do the show justice. And when I think it just goes to show sometimes how important marketing is. Because when they first announced it, and there was like a picture of the kids and stuff. So basically, a group of kids kind of end up on a sort of empty starship and they take control of it, and they get helped out by the hologram, who is Captain Janeway, who, if you know your Star Trek, she was from Voyager.
Okay.
And voiced by the same actress. Yeah, so when they first sort of spoke about this is when they were bringing out like the proper sort of Star Trek streaming channel, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was only going to be on there and whatever. Anyway, I took one look at this and I was like, no, not for me. This looks rubbish, not interested. So I kind of put it out of my head. Anyway, fast forward to probably about 2 weeks ago, Dave rang me out of the blue and said, "Are you watching Star Trek Prodigy?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Mate, you got to get on it. Season 2, episode 10, you got to get on this show. You got to get on it." And I said to him, "Okay, right." He said, "Even if you watch nothing else, just watch these 2 episodes. It's great." I'm like, "Okay, do I need to watch the first season?" And he was kind of like, he was trying to explain it a little bit. He was like, "Yeah, you kind of do." And I was like, "How many episodes is it?" And he was like, 20. I was like, "What?
That's too many."
Who does 20 episodes these days?"
Wow.
So I was like, okay, so I kind of, it was all on Netflix. I was like, I'll give it a go. So I started watching it maybe last week, maybe the week before. I've already done season 1, Stace. It's done.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In the bin, done.
In the bin.
Done. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I loved it because, like, it's kind of what Star Trek should be like.
Mm.
Like that, really, whether you like Star Trek or not, one of the things I always liked about Star Trek when I was a kid was it was always a hopeful show.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like that's what this is. And it's like, it's action, the music's great, Musical Musings coming up. You know, the music's great, it's great voice cast, some great cameos and nods to like some of the other shows and stuff. And it just reminds me, I think, this will probably be my only pick now that I'm waffling on. But I think this is where I think animation always does, in some cases, better than live action.
Yeah.
The reason, and I include sort of the likes of like Star Wars and DC and Marvel in that sometimes as well, in that whoever it is that kind of controls these shows, like the bean counters or the business people or the people who sort of come in and go, "Wouldn't it be nice if," and then just ruin something.
Yeah.
Tend to kind of leave animation alone. They tend to kind of leave them to sort of get on with their, to sort of just tell it your way. It's for kids, isn't it? Don't worry about it. You just do you. And I think because they do that, they end up being more faithful to like the core property than you think they're going to be. Which is why most of the Star Wars animated stuff I love, just for that reason. And I think this is another one. So I've got season 2 to watch. I haven't started it yet because I took a bit of a detour to watch the first episode of Batman the Cape Crusader.
Okay.
Which, I'll come in back a fortnight. So that's my pick, Prodigy, not to be confused with a group.
Excellent. I wasn't being quiet then because I'm an ignorant arsehole. I was being quiet because I don't do a Star Trek, so I don't have anything useful to add. So
no, I know you don't.
And I can't even do that polite thing where I'm like, oh, maybe I'll put that on my to watch pile, because I'm not gonna, because I don't do a Star Trek.
No. This is for the people who might put it on their pile, not for Stace.
Yeah, they should. My first pick of the fortnight, I'm going to do real fast because it's real new, and if I even try to talk about it for longer than like a minute, I'm going to end up spoiling something. Surprising approximately 0 people that have ever met me, Deadpool and Wolverine.
No.
I have never felt more annoyed coming out of a cinema in my life, because I went to see this on opening day with Rich and Phil, and I was tentatively jazzed as we went in, because I thought even if I don't really like the plot of the film or whatever, at least I'm just going to see, Deadpool nonsense shenanigans, and that'll be, at the very least, the film will probably be a certain level of enjoyable. But I was a bit worried about maybe it would be a bit weird now that it's in Marvel, under the Marvel Disney banner. You know, maybe it's going to be a bit new to dare. No, it isn't. It isn't,
Right.
lads. Every other word's a fucking swear word for a start. I don't know how this has got away with being a 15, because they dropped the C-bomb twice and there is blood just everywhere. Just all over everywhere. But I was so mad when I left the cinema because I was grinning from ear to ear throughout the whole film. Like, probably like 90% of the jokes landed, and that is a lot of jokes because this film is chocker with them. It's got like a surprising amount of heart. There were some really good, funny, like, needle drops in it. There were some really brilliant fight sequences. And, like, just generally, I just had an absolute whale of a time with it. And I was so, like, buzzing. And I looked at Rich and Phil and I went, oh, my God, what did you think? And Phil just gave me this look as if I'd just murdered his nan. And Rich looked at me as if to say, are you an idiot? And they were both like, yeah, it was shit. Like, I hate...
Really?
Phil, like, fully hated it, and Rich thought it was below average, was what he said. He was like, I wish I hadn't come to see it on opening night, really. And I was like... and I was just filled with this, like, manic, glorious nerd energy, and I had nowhere for it to go because both of them were just like, nah, but that was shit, though. And every time I tried to go, yeah, but what about that? What about that? They'd be like, yeah, all right. And I was like, no, and nobody else I knew had seen it at that point. So, like,
Right.
there was nobody I could gush at. So I was just filled with these, like, fucking, I loved it, man. Like, it's one of those weird films where some of the criticisms I can see and understand, but they were so negligible to me based on how much actual enjoyment I got out of the film that I couldn't give a shit. I get why people might think it's, like, a good film. I don't understand why either Rich and Phil, like, fully hate it. I didn't understand that because I was like, to me, it's so similar in tone to the first two Deadpool movies that if you like both of those, I don't get how you would hate this one unless you really fucking hate Hugh Jackman, which you might. You know, I don't know what he's like as a person. He might be really hateable, but he's a really fucking good Wolverine. Yeah, I absolutely adored it. My only sort of niggle with it really was that there wasn't another Deadpool rap over the credits, which made me a bit sad because I was like, come on now. We all love a rap about sucking on Deadpool's nuts or whatever. Like, that's how it goes, a Deadpool movie. But yeah, so that was my first pick. Surprising literally no one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how she'll pose. I will watch it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's kind of saying, "Why haven't you seen it yet?" And I was kind of like, "Well, I will watch it." So one, I always, you know what I'm like, always getting that thing when people hype something up too much to me.
Yeah.
It just every time it's hyped again, it just puts me off it.
Well, this is why I like to offer Rich and Phil's opinions at the same time now, because I'm like, in the interest of balance, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was phenomenal. Them pair thought it was shit.
Yeah.
Make of that what you will.
To be fair, the majority of people that I've kind of heard from have loved it. But also as well, like one, the hype thing. Two, I enjoyed the other two Deadpool films.
Yes.
That's as far. They didn't blow me away.
Yeah.
No, but then it's because of also as well, I'm not that great a fan of the character, and I think because of that, I think I'm already kind of going in with that, like, he's an alright character. I do like what Ryan Reynolds done with him. And I do like Hugh Jackman. I'm looking forward to like watching it at some stage, but yeah, I'm in no rush. And 9 times out of 10, when I do watch something way after all the hype has died down, Godzilla -1, I have a thoroughly great time, and I tend to nowadays sort of go, I'm kind of glad I've waited for the hype to subside because I can just watch it.
Yeah, there's no like expectation of Harry. What did you think of it?
I can just watch it and enjoy it, and and kind of watch it cold and not be kind of carried along with the sort of swoop of it. I mean, we've not really talked about it, but like Godzilla -1 was like a prime example. Like, so many people were going on at me about the film, and I was like, yeah, I'll get around to it. And then obviously it popped up on Netflix, And again, I sat down to watch it at some random time during the day. Didn't even make a big thing out of it. And then by the end of it, I was like, oh my God, I need to watch this film again.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you've got time for a second, or shall I just fart mine out real fast?
You get yours out.
Okay. Well, it's a relative, well, I say relatively old. It's from the last couple of years anyway. I just started watching a sitcom called We Are Lady Parts. And
Is that about a band?
It is about a band. It's based in London, and it is about a punk rock band made up entirely of Muslim women.
Yes, I have heard of this.
It's so good. I had avoided it for a bit because the title felt a little bit like Edgy Boy but girls, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, look, we're called Lady Parts, ooh. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But then Rich banged it on one day, and I was like, oh, let me just get the Parmesan cheese and just grate a little bit of it on top of all of my words and just chow down on them, because it's really fucking good. Like, it's not as heavy as I think I was expecting, because when you hear the premise of it being about a punk rock band of Muslim women, you think this is all going to be about racism and misogyny, and I'm going to have a real hard time. And it does touch on those things, but it's also like really, really funny. And it's stupidly inventive as well. Like there's one sequence that really got me, where one of them is trying to write a song about censorship, and she literally can't actually speak the words that she wants to say, and she has to have this like fight against this like invisible enemy of censorship, and it's like really amazing. And it's very British. It's so British, and I love that about it, because I don't watch a lot of British stuff outside of Doctor Who, really.
Yeah.
So it's nice to like. There was an episode where one of them went to Birmingham, and I was like, oh my God, I'll live there, and I got really excited. Like whenever you see like a Hollywood movie and then there's a Greg's in it or something, and you're like, oh, I know that thing.
I got really excited. Have you seen Renegade Now, which is on Disney
No.
Plus? Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
It's about a highway woman who has superpowers.
Okay.
Go check it out. It's quite fun. But they live in, even though it's like set in the dim, distant past, she lives in Tottenham.
Oh.
And I just kept thinking, it's Tottenham. That's where I'm from. And this little voice in my head was like, not then you weren't, Barry. I said, I know, but
It is ridiculous how much like warmth you can instill in me just by setting something somewhere I've been. It doesn't even have to be where I live. Like sometimes I'll see London in something and be like, I've been there. Everyone's been to London, for fuck's sake. But anyway, yes, so We Are Lady Parts. High recommend from me.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Shall I bust out some more trumps?
Do it.
Do you want to go first with the musical musing, since I've been talking for a bit?
Okay. As no one's going to be surprised by this, because I dropped a pretty big clanger, my pick is the main theme from Star Trek Prodigy.
Gasp.
I know, shocker. Which is by, I can never get his name right, Michael
Giacchino.
Yeah, him. Also, Star Trek Prodigy apparently is a thing, and Nami Melumad. Love it. Absolutely love the main theme. It's very rare I actually skip over the intro to the show because I love the main theme so much. It kind of embodies like everything from like not just a Star Trek, but from like a sci-fi show. It's got that kind of hope and adventure and excitement.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. So that's my pick. That was easy.
Yeah, it was. I can be pretty quick about mine too. I don't know if I talked about this film on the podcast, but last year I went to see a film called Past Lives, which is like a Korean romance movie from A24. And I wasn't expecting to like it really, because I'm not a big romance kind of a gal.
Mm-hmm.
But it is genuinely one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. And it has like a truly stunning soundtrack by Christopher Bear and Daniel Rossen. And the song that I've picked in particular is called See You. And it's a beautiful piano piece that is somehow hopeful and yet somehow like unutterably sad. It sort of builds up into this like gorgeous crescendo in the middle and then sort of fades back down, and it's just, don't listen to it when you're feeling delicate because you'll probably cry. Not that I've cried at it at all ever.
No, of course not.
Definitely not me. You'll never
Not
find me
Stace,
crying at a
never.
soundtrack. No, absolutely not. But yeah, both the soundtrack and the film are a big recommend from me, even if you're not particularly into romance movies, because it's just really good. It's really fucking good. There you go. That was a musical musing. Blimey.
Blimey.
Cool. Blimey.
That was quick, wasn't it?
I know. We've definitely got time for another segment.
Then let's segment.
Let's do it. Extra, extra. Geek all about it. There you go.
You love doing that accent, don't you?
I do, even though I'm really shit at it.
In my head, you've generally got a flat cap and braces, and you're just handing newspapers out to random people. Extra, extra. Avengers attacked again. Extra.
Extra, extra. Fucking hell. Alien invasion right this moment. Right, anyway. Speaking of Avengers and that, so like some big clanging news happened. It was San Diego Comic-Con last weekend.
Yes. Do we preface it with I know everyone probably knows, but
yeah, we are going to do a big clanging Marvel casting spoiler. So if you don't already know what it is based on those words I just said, then yeah, maybe put the podcast down and have a cup of tea or something instead.
Yeah, go make yourself a cuppa and we'll see you next episode.
We'll see you in season 12. I don't know. Who knows what's coming next? Yeah, so big clanging spoiler ahead. Now, I don't even know how to like preface this. So I don't know for sure whether they've officially fully abandoned Kang as a thing in the MCU, but it certainly looks like it, since the next Avengers movie is no longer Kang Dynasty, but is now, I've forgotten what that, Doomsday?
Doomsday, yeah.
Avengers Doomsday. And so they announced, core blimey, we're bringing Doctor Doom to the table, and look who's going to play him. And then a man in a weird green suit that didn't really look very good, to be honest, came out with a Doom mask on, and he whipped it off. And core blimey, it's Robert Downey Jr., isn't it?
Yeah. It's only Robert. It's only Robbie Downey.
It's only Downey Jr., mate. In it, bruv. So I've got to stop saying bruv. There's a wrestler that's like literally calls everybody bruv all the time, and now it seems to have fallen into my lexicon, and I can't stop doing it, and it's driving everybody a little bit mad. Like even women, all right, bruv. Stop it, Stace. Yeah, Robert. So here's the thing. I'm going to preface all of this by saying that whenever I have speculated on casting choices in the past, it's always ended badly for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've always gone, I don't know if they'll do a good job. I don't know if I'd want someone a bit more. I don't know. And then it's been like Heath Ledger as the Joker, and I've just fucking made a right fanny of myself. So prefacing all of this by saying these are purely my knee-jerk response thoughts to the immediate aftermath of finding out this news. I've got no concept of what the film's going to be like, how they're going to do it, or what he will be like. This is purely Stace brain farts. So don't come at me, the internet.
Don't come for us.
Don't,
because we'll be ready.
Because here's the thing, right, that I'm worried about. Well, there's two things that I'm worried about, right? And maybe you as a writer will have, like, better thoughts around this than me. But I have two worries. The first is that I just associate Robert Downey Jr. so much now with Iron Man that I don't know if I will even possibly be able to accept him as a Doom. Like, I'm worried I'll just see his face and be like, oh, Tony Stark, and then my brain will just run off with that. I think it's a if they're going to have him as Victor Von Doom being Doctor Doom, I don't know how my brain's going to separate those two characters, because all the time it will just be going, but it's Tony. Look at him, it's definitely Tony. He looks exactly like, why is nobody mentioning how much he looks like Tony? And I'll be losing my entire mind. So that's a worry for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the other worry that I have is that instead of going down the Victor Von Doom route, they'll go down the Tony Stark variant route. And that bothers me for two reasons. The first being that I don't know that I care to see that. I don't know if I want to. Oh, look at a morally ambiguous / outright evil Iron Man. And the other reason I don't particularly like that idea is because I would really like to see Victor Von Doom on the big screen properly, please and thanks. Because no offence to Julian McMahon, but that wasn't it. Sorry, bro. So how are you feeling initially about it?
So first off, I got to say, when I watched the video,
yeah,
it was a boss move the way they did it.
Yeah.
And the crowd reaction was like immense.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I remember when they did. Now, this is coming from someone who I will say I liked Batman v Superman, the director's cut. That's important.
Yeah.
But I remember when they announced Batman v Superman, and there was a guy there. I can't think. He was in the film. He was in one of the films, and he was just reading a bit of dialogue from The Dark Knight Returns. And everyone lost their shit, because then they showed the logo, we Batman v Superman, and everyone lost their shit, and it's all exciting and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then obviously Batman v Superman came out, and everyone was split over it. So first off, I thought they did a great job with announcing it.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll give them that, definitely.
Yeah. My cynical side felt a little bit like the last Star Wars film. It felt a little bit like Marvel had a meeting and they were like, we're not doing well, are we, lads? Mm. You know, films are coming out and we're getting slated left, right and centre. What can we do? You know, now we've had to sack the bloke that we pinned all our hopes on to be the new Thanos. Mm. What we're going to do? And then someone literally just goes, I've got an idea. Why don't we just bring back Robert Downey Jr.? And why is that going to work? He's good. No, hold me. We'll bring him back as Doctor Doom, and we'll get in the Russo brothers, because who do people like in the MCU? People love the Russo brothers because of what they did with Endgame and with Infinity War, in Endgame. And didn't they do Winter Soldier?
Possibly, yeah. One of them. Yeah, they did another one.
And everyone loves Robert Downey Jr. You know, and let's be honest, we wouldn't have had the MCU if it wasn't for the first Iron Man film, Blade. You know, so we just got to work out. We'll work out the kinks later of how we're going to make him Doctor Doom. But I reckon if we do that, that will buy us enough goodwill until the film comes out. We've got 2 years. We can bang something together in that time. So that was my cynical side.
Yeah, to be fair, my brain had an immediate thought of we've got a bin Kang. What can we do? Yeah,
and it almost feels a little bit like, Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo brothers are going to swoop in to save Marvel. Mm. Now, could be fantastic.
I don't think he'll do a bad job. Let me just put that out there. He's a good actor.
I watched Oppenheimer. He was phenomenal in Oppenheimer. Yeah. I didn't think of him as Tony Stark once in that film, and he was kind of a bit of an arsehole. You know, he was great in that. So I'm not saying he can't do Doom. Yeah. I reckon he could act the shit out of Doom. But personally, I would have rather have seen someone new as Doom who can inhabit that role.
Yeah.
Without me having to second guess and go, what now?
With all this extra baggage.
Yeah, exactly, without the baggage. Because surely, in my head, I don't know how to do it. I don't know whether it'll be a variant or whatever. But there is no way they can have it where the Avengers see him and there isn't a story behind it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a case of he just rocks up and he's just Victor Von Doom and everyone just acts like he's a completely new character. I think they're going to work it in somehow. Because I think people have said like he'll be a variant and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I think it will be, because they kept saying the multiverse. So I think it will be some sort of variant. And then it will be the Avengers having to deal with the fact that they're fighting someone who looks like their friend who died, who's a completely new character.
Yeah, and that's gonna suck.
and there's a lot of emotional stuff you can do with that, but it
feels very stunty.
There's a lot of heavy lifting going on. I almost wish they just brought him back as Tony Stark from another parallel universe, but he's evil. I'd rather that in some ways. He's just an evil Tony Stark from another universe than the whole kind of Doctor Doom thing. But, I do love Doctor Doom.
Well, I think this is the other potential issue for me, is that I'm not that struck on Fantastic Four, but my favourite part of the Fantastic Four is Doom. So,
it's Doom.
Yeah. So, like, there's a little bit of trepidation for me, because it's like... Because the other thing is, as well, is he going to be appearing in the Fantastic Four movie that's coming up, which is apparently set in the 60s? In which case, that makes the whole Tony Stark thing an entirely different kettle of comics. I don't know.
Well, I do wonder, because when's the Fantastic Four's out? Is that next year it's out? I don't know when it's out.
I believe so.
I wonder if that would be like almost like their soft reboot. Fantastic Four First Steps, which is a strange title.
It is a strange title.
I don't really know what you're trying to say with that. And the Thunderbolts is coming out next year, apparently.
Yes, it is.
So I wonder if it will almost be a little bit of a soft reboot. And I wonder, because you imagine it, they bring out Fantastic Four and let's work on the basis that it's good or great. The cast is good.
Yeah.
Not sure about the roles they've put them in, but, we'll give it a go. And it's Galactus. I mean, come on, give it up, And let's say the post-credit scene is Doctor Doom, and it's Tony Stark, or someone who looks like Tony Stark. It's like bang, you're in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's leading up to those big films. That's what I wonder if that's what they're going to do. Part of me, though, whilst I understand why they did it, and I don't believe there's a way they could have kept it under wraps, I almost wished they had kept it under wraps.
Yeah, I was saying this after we saw Deadpool, because everybody will know, because everybody's been banging on about it on the internet, that there's loads of cameos in that movie, and some of them are like blink and you'll miss them, and others are like, I wouldn't even call them cameos, I'd say they're supporting characters to the story. And there were a couple that literally like blew my metaphorical cock off. I was like, holy shit snacks, and I lost my entire damn mind. And I would love to have that reaction more often in cinemas and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I'm watching telly, to just be like blindsided by a real big fucking surprise. Like, wouldn't that be good?
I know, and I think I know why they've done it, because obviously they want to like get their interest back and stuff like that. And let's be honest, they didn't actually have anything to really show. So, saying they've got back Robert Downey Jr., they've got back the Russo brothers that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Whereas how much more like cool it would have been. I mean, that would have been up there with Samuel L. Jackson coming on as Nick Fury.
Yeah.
And not knowing, seeing Victor Von Doom and everyone go, oh my God, it's Doom. And then like him taking off the mask and you realising it's like Tony Stark. Even if they didn't do it in the Fantastic Four, even if they waited until Doomsday, gave him a metallic voice, so you wouldn't know who he was. And then when he takes it off, maybe at the end of the first film or whatever, maybe it'll be if they bring back like Captain America, it'll be like Steve, and not Steve, Tony, and then it ends like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be like a holy shit moment. But now it's kind of like, we know who Doom's going to be now.
Oh, we're just going to be waiting to see it.
Yeah.
I'll be like antsy for it to get to him now. I'll be like, right, when's this movie end? Because I want to see some Doom. I want to know what it looks like.
So I am excitedly cautious.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that I was saying to the other half that if they'd have announced this like in the immediate aftermath of like Endgame, I'd have probably lost my entire shit. But because it's come after such a like, and I'm not somebody who rags on Marvel movies. Like, I don't think they've all been terrible. There's been a couple of real gems actually since
I agree.
Endgame, and a couple that are just like all right.
Yeah.
Been a handful of duds, but my trust in them to deliver me something I'm gonna like has dropped quite dramatically since. Because it has been so hit and miss, and when they've hit, they've like, you know, kicked you in the crotch fantastic, but when they've missed, it's been like, you boy. So I like, yeah, I think if they were coming off the wave of trust I had for them after the whole Infinity War Endgame thing, I would have lost my mind. But coming now, it feels very much sort of like we've got to do something to get people excited for Marvel movies again. What do they like? Iron Man. Like, it feels like panic almost. Which is just like, yeah, it's just a little bit bonkers, isn't it? But again, I am very prepared to, like, in a year or two's time when the movie comes out, just to eat every single one of these words. Like,
exactly, yeah.
It probably will happen. But no one will know until then.
And I mean, you know, he's probably got paid $1 gazillion for them to have got him back. Because I mean, you know, he's only just won an Oscar for Oppenheimer. Yeah. It's not like he needed the work. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, he's going to cost them a pretty penny.
I imagine they've thrown the bank at him, literally.
Yeah, I think they've succeeded in the sense that I'm intrigued now. I suppose more than I was before. So they've done that, haven't they?
But I think it'd be interesting to see because obviously we've got a couple of films to go before we get to him, which is why I think they won't. I don't know. Something tells me they won't leave it that long before we actually see him. So yeah, so Avengers Doomsday is out in. Oh, I'm just trying to see that's it. Yeah, Doomsday's out 2026, and then Secret Wars is out 2027.
Okay.
But I'm saying that, I mean, you know, Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, but like, I haven't got a clue who's in them.
No, me neither. Like, oh well, I guess we'll have to wait for next year's San Diego Comic-Con to find that out, probably.
Yeah, because will it be? I would assume then, because Captain America is now Falcon's now Captain America. That's out next year.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'd forgotten about that.
That'll be setting it out. Yeah. So I would imagine it would be a different lineup of Avengers.
Yeah, probably.
So that would put a different spin on it as well. I hadn't even thought of it. I think everyone probably thought it was getting their gang back together, but it's probably not going to be.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting times for Marvel.
We shall see. As she strokes her beard. Well, folks, I think that was an episode of Stace and Barry in the Morning, wasn't it?
I think it was, Stace.
I think it was. If you would like to get in touch with us, pop over an email to staceandbarry@gmail.com, or follow us on the majority of the socials at Geek Syndicate and at Stacey's Parlour. Yeah, have a good one, whateher day it is. If you're in the UK in this heat wave currently, please stay hydrated and take care of yourself. And by all of the fans.
All of them.
Oh, dearie me. Love you, everybody. Ta-ra a bit.
Bye all.